powerful statements from Kat about the reaction that your children had in terms of, you know, not being inspired to stay in school. You know, it's not the message, of course, that we want children to be getting from our lives. I was wondering if anybody has a reaction of a different reaction from their own children when they were able to go to school.
Yes, I actually, my son was turning 18 when I went into UC Berkeley, and he didn't want to continue on and go to college. And once he seen me go into UC Berkeley, he was inspired, and he continued on and went to college. My older son, he also went to college. So I had, and my daughter, my kids are older now, but I had 3 kids to go to college because I went. So, and I have 21 grandkids. I am their role model, and they all talk about college all the time. So I think, you know, to push education, and they see me traveling, they see me speaking. I take them to a lot of my engagements. National Radio Project had a 10-year anniversary a few years ago, and I took about 12 of my grandkids with me. And it's just an encouragement when you can look up and you can constantly be moving forward. In the fall, I'll get a raise, a $5 raise. You know, you couldn't do that if you don't have an education. You know, people don't even, you know, you won't qualify for any of these things. So they are definitely encouraged by me going to school. And my life touched many lives, my children and my grandchildren.
And with my experience, I was allowed to get 2 years of college. I was not allowed to get 4. So after I finished my associate's degree, I had to work whatever kind of menial job that I could so that I could get my BA in humanities. As a matter of fact, the night before I was committing myself into the program, and it is a huge commitment, my daughter found me, and I was crying in my room, and she said, "What's the matter?" And I said, you know how much I want to register for this class. And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, there's no funds out there for child care. I got to take out $20,000 worth of loans, which I still can't pay off because there's like 30% unemployment where I live, and we have doctors working at Taco Bell." So she said, "Well, it's okay, Mom. I'm going to make that commitment to watch after my little sister." She was 16, her little sister was 8 years old, and she took the responsibility every Saturday of watching my child so I could go on and finish my degree, because that was not available through the system that I was working in Ohio. And then she since has had a child. She left school, much to my dismay, and she just got her GED a month ago because you know, I tried to urge her, you know, do it before you have kids, do it before you have kids. And she had the kid first, and then when she was working on her GED, she said, "Boy, I wish I would have done this before I had kids." But the importance of education is everything once you have a child.
I wanted to add to that, too. So in Montana, we got in under the waiver, the TANF waiver. So in Montana, we used to have a very strong welfare program that allowed education as well as parenting and cultural activities for Native Americans to count as work activities. So that's when I was on welfare. And how I got involved with WHEEL was our state was going to take away our right as people on welfare to go to college. I got involved in WHEEL. The organizer at the time asked me if I could go to the Capitol, and I said, "I don't have time for that." And she said, "Well, they're going to take away your right to go to school." And I said, "I think I can make time." And I talked to 120 out of 150 legislators, and once they understood that we're not asking for more money, what we're asking for is the right to spend our time doing something that's going to move us out of poverty, and that is go to school. And so in 2000, we were fighting that fight. In 2005, I walked onto that House floor as a legislator. So.
And I want to also just let you know that we had a report from the Institute for Women's Policy Research, Resilient and Reaching for More, and it was a partnership between IWPR and Lifetime, and when they said we wanted to do a study of CalWORKs moms in college, We said, well, you can use our database, but we want you to ask some questions that will help us strengthen our advocacy in this area, because in California, you can get up to a master's teaching credential on welfare, but only if you go to school before the caseworker gets a hold of you. Once the caseworker gets a hold of you, you're limited to about 12 months of vocational education and training. And Renita was one of the moms who, you know, we used to go out and do workshops to teach moms, get in school now before you sign your welfare to work plan, and you're gonna get a chance to do something real for your kids. But in that report, one of the things we wanted to know is what impact does this have on our kids? And I've heard different mothers in different parts of California say the same thing independent of each other. They said, my kid doesn't say if I go to college, my kid says when. And our organization is 80% women of color, so this is a tremendous opportunity to break the cycle of poverty and create intergenerational achievement. You know, they criticize welfare for intergenerational dependence. Well, this is the way to break that. Renita has another comment, but
I just want to say one thing. You know, I have 4 African-American sons in the state of California, and the incarceration rate there is just through the roof for African-American males. And for me to have 4 sons, none of them in prison. One works for the city of Berkeley, one works for the city of Oakland, one's a school teacher, one works for the city of Berkeley. The other one is culinary, he just graduated, and one just moved to Hawaii and working there. I mean, I feel like that's a success story in itself. You know? I'm very, very happy, and I know that me going back to school, my education, and continuing on and would not quit, I know that had a lot to do with who they are today.
Thank you, Renita. So we're going to have to close this panel. Everybody, please give a round of applause to the women from all these amazing organizations.